Hey guys, I just wanted to give you all an update on my Dragon Tail Assassin. I know some of you might remember that I put out a guide video right before the ladder started, explaining that this Assassin class is the last 99 that I'm yet to get, and I didn't want to play Phoenix Strike Mosaic Assassin. So I decided to look for a new build, and came up with this Dragon Tail build. And I thought I would just show you my progress and how things are looking this far into the ladder. It's been, what, a few weeks maybe? I don't know. But we're at level 96, and you'll see here, as detailed in my guide, we have a lot of strength. And I'll go through the gear that I have, alright? So, obviously we have our mosaics, but I got 2 with 3 to Dragon Tail on them. Then I also made sure I had one that had an extra point for Death Sentry. This is helpful for adding just a Death Sentry in for corpse exploding the mobs if you need to. So that's very good. And over here we have another one with Fade and Cloak of Shadows. So that saved me some points, right? Not that you have to do that. Dragon Tail by itself, 3 to Dragon Tail is perfect. Now, what I forgot to mention before is that the elite talons and the greater talons are the fastest talons. So you want to try and get these for your kicks to be as fast as possible. I didn't properly explain that last time, but it's better if you go for greater talons in particular because they require less dex and strength, right? So ideally you'd go for these for greater talons to otherwise you're going to need more increased attack speed items to make up for the fact that you don't have the fastest weapon. And even then, it's harder to reach the breakpoints because the base weapon speed is the most important factor. So, we have 2 mosaics. This is like my 4th Flickering Flame that I've rolled. Negative 15 fire res, 8 resist fire aura, so perfect on those stats. It just doesn't have perfect mana, so it's basically perfect. We have a 3 martial arts, 29 strength amulet. We're definitely we're trying to push those numbers into overkill territory, big damage numbers, okay? Big damage numbers, just for fun, okay? Just for fun. You don't have to do this, okay? 3 martial arts, 10 FCR, you could do 2 martial arts, resists FCR. You could go Maras. I have a Maras in my stash, you know, blah, blah, blah. But the way it's going at the moment is pretty good. And then, because we have so much strength, we can have Enigma in a Sacred Armor. How often do you see that? Pretty hilarious, but the defense is massive, and that's awesome, so don't get hit as often. That's cool. And then I had been making I've been imbuing so many Myrmidon Greaves to get the highest damage kick, right? Now, you could go for Shadow Dancers, but I'll explain that we don't use Fade. I decided not to use Fade. That's the change I made with this build. You want to use Burst of Speed, and I'll get to that. So we need resists, big time. So, got some Tri-Res Myrmidon Greaves, and I even crafted some good ones, I'll show you. These ones here, these are, I believe, safety Myrmidon Greaves, and these are pretty nice, but I managed to get these before I rolled that. But it does have damage reduction, pretty nice. And then I have these ones here, pretty good resist. I think I wore those before I got these. And then we have these Greaves, which I could up, but I didn't end up doing that. And these ones are pretty good too, but I didn't need I needed lightning res more than fire res. Anyway, now we have a Death Grasp ring. Now this ring isn't great, okay? Like I said, we're going for big strength, so it's got 20 strength. I'm trying to find a better ring that has a bit more extras with the strength. But yeah, our damage is looking high, okay? And then for more resists, I know before I was using Arak, but the thing is, I don't need FCR at this point because I don't have a CTA yet. So I'm able to just use a Whiz Spike on swap. So I have Whiz Spike over here with the Spirit. That's plenty of FCR, okay? So that's fine, but I don't have CTA at this point, okay? I haven't been lucky on the rune drops. And then we have a Ravenfrost. I have found a couple upgrades as I've been playing. So this is the best one I've found so far. Very solid. Obviously, cannot be frozen is a must-have. And then we have Kenshi's Light Gauntlets of Readiness. So 3 to martial arts, 10 increased attack speed, and I'll get to this, right? I did the attack speed calculator, breakpoints, calculations, whatnot, but this is what we have. So we only have 10 IAS on the gear, right? And the bases are -30 on the speed, right? Then we have our 14, 17 torch, which is pretty good. And we have a 16, 14, 10 Annie. And then we have a Geeds, which I can, if I feel like doing more damage, I swap this out for a martial arts charm. And then I've just got all martial arts charms. And then I have this martial arts lifer, which is pretty sweet. I found this so early, it was annoying because I couldn't sell it. I wanted to just sell it, but no one would offer me the right price. And now the economy's tanked, and now people don't, like, do you know what I mean? Now it's like not worth selling. So it's just like, I might as well keep this now. And then we got a -70 Sunder, so perfect on that. I got this pretty early, that was nice. And then we've just got resistance charms here. And if possible, get them with strength. Life's good too, but strength or life, right? And so while I'm wearing the talons, we've got 80 fire res, 75 lightning, 10 cold, and -23 poison, which isn't too bad because you can just pop fade to offset the poison if you need to. Plus, our mercenary is running a cure, so it kind of helps us out there. Now, we don't have infinity yet either. I don't have CTA, so obviously I can't afford an infinity as well yet. So what we're running is Reaper's Toll. Reaper's Toll's probably the next best option because Decrepify, Dragon Tail works as a physical damage attack that is converted to fire. So just like any melee build, Decrepify is going to be huge for your damages. So it's going to be like, you know, nullifying enemies' defense and then just hugely boosting your damage. He's running a Treachery and a Cure, like real basic stuff, okay? He's using Blessed Aim. I don't think I mentioned the Mercenary aura, but Blessed Aim is going to ensure that your kicks are always landing, just so you have that boost to AR. And our damage is so high, we don't really need Might. But if I find some better gear and I get a bit more AR, I could swap him to Might to really push it up, right? And then, of course, we wanted at least enough life to get us to about 1,000, and then with BO it takes us to 2,000. That's plenty. And the reason it's plenty is because Cobra Strike, with the huge amount of fizz damage we do, so you'll find Phoenix Strike Mosaic Sins maxing Cobra Strike because their kicks aren't actually landing all the time. So they need to, like, they're kicking all the time and they're hoping it lands, or the fizz damage isn't much, the physical aspect of it. So when that goes in, they need high lifesteal, but our damage is so high that this is like super overkill. One kick, I'm fully healed, right? As long as the kick registers, fully healed. So all you need really in this build is max Tiger Strike, and then you can start kicking things, right? But I like to have at least 2 charges of Cobra Strike so that I'm getting the life and mana. I don't really need charge 3, but if you happen to hold that button down, then you get 3 charges, all good. And then what I did further to that was, because I don't have Infinity yet, I was thinking I should be using Blades of Ice on top so that I can deal with fire immunes. Even though I have the Sunder, when they're sundered, they still have so much resist, they're a bit of a pain to deal with, right? So I could use Blades of Ice and then just quickly burst them down with Dragon Talon with fast kicks, or just keep kicking them normally, but add that ice damage. But then I discovered that Fists of Fire, Claws of Thunder, and Blades of Ice, they add this AoE effect that is a little bit larger than the explosion of Dragon Tail. And what ends up happening is, if you're not literally on top of the target to hit them with the Dragon Tail, it doesn't register. So if you're sort of holding a click on something and heading over to it, and then you go to kick, if it goes in kicks based on the distance that it thinks it can attack using these charge skills, you'll do the attack and then it won't register. So you can't really use these unless you really, really need to. But then I found that Phoenix Strike does work because it sort of comes from inside of your character instead of it being like a hitbox, right? So I'm still having max Blades of Ice is good, and then try to get 3rd charge of Phoenix Strike, so you have your little icy bolts come out, and that's all you need. You only need the Phoenix Strike extra if you need it, right? If you need to deal with a Fizz Immune, or they have a really high fire resist, you can go that way, just to add a bit more damage to help you out. Once I have Infinity, probably won't need that, and I almost don't need it because the damage is that high. You will see. So that's where we're at on that. Now, That 1 point from my claw saved me hard points getting the Death Sentry all the way down here. And then we have 1 into Fade. And then, so based on the calculations, to get to the fastest breakpoint, attack speed breakpoint with Dragon Tail, you need 26 points in the burst of speed. 26 points with this claw base with 10% increased attack speed. That will get you to, I think, the 7 frame attack window. I think it is. And then on top of that, I think it takes you slightly over the 7 frame, right? But if you have your burst of speed, I think you need something like 12 to 16 burst of speed to get to the 7 frame. But then if you get decrepified or slowed, if you've played this build, you'll know that's really bad. You can't actually throw the kicks out and you're going to get attacked. So then if you get decrepified or slowed while you have your burst of speed to this level, it will only drop your kick speeds to, I think, 8 frames. So it's significantly better than if you didn't have burst of speed and were running Fade. And because you life leech so much, you're actually better off kicking faster than having the protection aspects of Fade. Now, it's still good to have Fade for when you're teleporting around. So still good to have, right? And so yeah, and we had Terrorized Chaos today, and I'll show you some clips of us blasting, and you can really see where this class shines. Where there was another Mosaic in the game, and she's clearing AoE a lot better than me. But to ensure that those runs were like 1 minute long, I'm just sniping those champions. Like, to say seal pop, bang, teleport onto him, kick once, he's dead. You know what I mean? Like, kick once or twice, he's dead. And we're going so fast. We're doing like, I don't even know, like 30 to 50 second runs. It was that fast, right? We actually started late, and I think we started like 10 minutes late, and we still got to I think it was like over 50 runs. So really insane. And then I'll show you some regular gameplay as well. So it's Forgotten Tower at the moment. So we'll get started, try and find our Forgotten Tower. We'll do a run. It's players 3 at the moment. Can't find a game with mates on at the moment, so you have to deal with just players 3, but you'll get the idea. Now, these guys are Fizz immune, right? This is a good area to give an example of where this build will suffer. Now, they're decrept. We'll build up our Tiger Strike, 75 to 115k. And they just die. Beautiful. Now, Fizz immunes are going to be the hardest to deal with, and Stone Skin. But everything else will die in one shot. Now, ironically, if you bring a ghost next to something else and you kick the other enemy, if I kick this Fallen, the explosion damage AoE of the fire will come out as fire and hit all the Fizz immunes and still kill them. So this is why I don't really feel like running a physical Sunder. It just feels a bit like you can probably find a way to deal with it. Plus, if we use our Phoenix Strike 3 charges, oh, this guy's immune to cold, so that immediately makes that awkward. But anyway, this is how it looks with Phoenix Strike. And I know I said forget about Phoenix Strike, it's bad, and I agree, but once we have Infinity, we don't have to do this. But honestly, this isn't too visually like annoying to look at, you know? Like, just one kick, things die almost all the time. Oh, a little Sunder there. Lovely. Go level 4. And see, we can use Dragon Talon if we feel like, to deal with all of those Fizz immunes. If you can't get them decrept, or if you're not using a Fizz Sunder, you can just do that instead. Just quickly bring out a few frost bolts, and that's it. And look at that, so quick and easy. And that's like just I was just casually going through, just showing you guys, so pretty good. But once again, I don't recommend stacking Fist of Fire, Claws of Thunder, Blades of Ice. The hitbox, I'll show you, it might still do enough damage to just go through. But you see that ice that comes out around it? The hitbox is a little bit larger than Dragon Tails, and it can mess up your damage. See how that Dark Archer didn't get one shot? She should have got one shot. Then she got one shot there. But then, of course, if there's a lot of Fizz immunes, or this one's cold immune, so you use Fist of Fire, right? You can still add it in if you really need to, right? That's the beauty of it. And yeah, so that's where we're at. I'll throw in a few more clips of the Chaos stuff, and yeah, so that's where we're at. And the next steps are to get Infinity and to probably find some better items, try and get a bit more res. Then I can swap this IK belt into Arax, but that IK belt with the strength, honestly, the strength, when you got about 30 strength, it's almost comparable to a skill at this with this skill, for the way it scales. But 1 to all skills is going to definitely be better. So, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.